Flask is a micro-framework for Python based on Workzook, Jinja 2, and Good Intentions. Workzook and Jinja 2 are Python libraries. Flask is also implemented in Python. It includes a built-in development server, unit testing support, and is fully Unicode enabled with RESTful request dispatching. Flask adheres to the Web Server Gateway interface standard. Pinterest, LinkedIn, and the community webpage for Flask itself all use Flask. Flask is not part of the Python standard library. We have to install it to use it. Let's do that next. We go to Preferences, click on Project Interpreter, click on the plus sign, and then look for Flask. We verify the version and click Install Package. The module flask-app.py is available on Canvas. Please download it and save it in your PyCharm project to follow along. Let's run the program. Now let's open the browser window and point it to localhost port 5000. And we get another warm welcome to CS122. Let's take a closer look at our program. So here we have this route decorator at app.route. This is how we specify routes with Flask. The decorator links a URL to a function that's invoked when that URL is specified by the client. Let's add a route for the about URL. So we're going to create a new function and decorate it with app.route. The URL that will specify is /about. We'll also name our function about, but we don't have to. We could name it anything else. And we want our function to return a CS122 course description. That's what we want to be displayed in the browser when the user points to that URL. Let's bring back our browser and point to the about URL. So it's /about after the localhost and after the port. And we get this not found message. That's understandable because even though we modified our program and added this route, the server was already running. We did not stop it and restart it with this new route. So let's do that. Let's just stop it here. But before restarting it, let's do something different. Let's add a debug argument to our app.run. And now let's start our server. Now let me bring back my browser window and let me refresh it. And now I see CS122 course description, which means that my about function here was invoked. Now let me make a change to the about function, and instead of returning plain text, let me return formatted HTML. I want this to be formatted as a header. This time I'm not going to restart my server. I'm just going to bring back my browser window and refresh it. And here we get the formatted header, even though we did not restart the server. So we're able to do that because of this debug argument that we specified. When we set the debug argument to true, the server will reload itself every time our code changes. So this is very handy when we are developing our app. Now, what if we want the welcome message to be available when the user specifies the home URL? All we need to do is add a route. So we link the welcome function to the home URL. Let's see how that works in the browser. I specify home here and I get my welcome message. Now we need to be able to do more than just return HTML or plain text from our server. So there are three HTML files that are available on Canvas: home.html, about.html, and review.html. Please download them. We need to save them in the templates folder. So let's go ahead and create a directory and name it templates. It's important that it has this name, so we'll name it templates. And here's what it looks like for me. Here under my project, I have a demo Flask directory, and inside it, I have the Flask app, and I have created a templates directory. This is where we'll put home.html, about.html, and review.html. So here's what I have after copying these HTML files. So let's take a look at the home template first. Let me open it in the browser. And here's what we have here. We have the header, and then we have a table with 4 links. Let's take a look at the about file. And let me open it in the browser as well. So here I have a course description and then a home link at the bottom. So now instead of just returning a string, we want to render the home template that we just saved in our templates folder. So we do that by calling the render template function that we imported from Flask. And we do the same here for our about function. We render the about.html template. You may wonder, why am I calling them templates? These look like HTML files. The reason is that we're going to use them as templates. We'll see how to do that with Jinja 2. Now let me bring back my browser window. This is the root URL. It is rendering home.html. We can check the about URL, and it's rendering our about.html template as well. We can go back to the home URL and we get the home HTML as well. Remember, the welcome function is invoked when we specify the root URL and when we specify the home URL. We'll see how to add a database to our web app next.